Okay, good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. on April 25th, 2023, and we're here for our special meeting with the airport. I'm calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Matari, and Duncan. Are there changes to the agenda? All right, hearing none. Our first item is airport update from Interim Director Phil Cummings. Phil?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Oh, can you get your, thank you.
You have to train me. Good morning, Commissioners. Things are looking up at the airport. We're working on or planning for our next AIP project. We're going to start into that. It's an extension of Taxiway Charlie. And we've had one meeting with the FAA on our reimbursable agreement with the movement and replacement of some of their FAA-owned facilities. It's a reimbursable agreement into the project. It's 100% paid for by the FAA. It just needs to be worked into our project, so that's being all formulated right now. So we got the contracts coming up for the mill and overlay. The seal coat project is getting sorted out. We've got some operational things I think we need to take a look at. I wasn't here at the formulation of that. We've had some possible change discussion coming up on the safety plan and the closures to accommodate that project. Nothing insurmountable. It's all basically internal changes with engineer and FAA.
Okay.
And other than that, I think I'll turn it over to Brian.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. This is the first time I've appeared for an update. As you know, I've been honored with chairmanship of the airport board. My way of going about things is to hear people out, and I gave in the initial meeting some latitude for that, and also met with certain people at the airport, not everybody, but to try to get an idea of the issues that people are concerned with at the airport. I've tried to bring those forward into a way of looking at them and prioritizing, but I think I have a good orientation now as to at least some of the issues. There may be others, and I think we have a pathway that's good to start moving on issues at the airport. And I think we'll be doing that when you see the next agenda, which I've already put together for the next meeting. That'll be posted shortly, and it's a more focused agenda. The first couple times were to try to get a sense. It's a new board. We've only had 4 meetings at this point, 2 of which were largely just reinstating the new board. And so I think we're getting our bearings and we're setting our course, and I think you're going to start seeing the board march forward in a good way on some of the issues that have been outstanding at the airport, and making recommendations, because that's what we do. We don't direct the airport director. We make recommendations to BOCC, and then it's with you and your discretion to do what you will with those recommendations. So I look forward to bringing those forward and working with the board. Thank you.
Thanks. Questions?
Just curious, Phil, how the FAA is coming along, our relationship with them, and some of the longer-term projects that were on the table with them?
Yeah, we're taking a look at the CIP constantly, and that's something that generically you redo every 5 years. We start looking at the long-range plans and development of the airport. Something that is coming, I think may come to fruition and change that is the fact we were running out of lease lots. We've got a couple options, and that was going to tie in with my discussion here. I know I've mentioned a few times about the Part 13 and trying to come up to speed with that. And I don't know much about it other than what's been put in the paper. I don't know if it's 14 acres or 40 or 60. We have an opportunity to possibly bring some of that property back into aviation. But I need to understand the agreement in purchase with the state over the gun club. We've got a lot of people knocking on the door that want to build hangars, and we're running out of room, and that's going to end up taking a priority. So things like the decoupling may get put off until 29 instead of 27. We keep moving it back for projects that have higher priority. Those are things we're just starting to look into now because we've got too many people knocking at the door. So that's one that's going to be discussed with the airport board as well as the FAA. And again, we need to look at our CIP list. We may end up redoing it before I get out of here. So it's becoming pretty important to the airport.
So the state has not contacted us yet. So, and we're in the driver's seat anyway. I'm curious though, so that if we just say that there are 3 20-acre parcels, right? If we say that 40 goes to the gun club, then there's that extra 20 acres that could be, it's already been released by the FAA. So what do we do to get it back?
Well, that's not difficult. And the airport did the right thing moving forward with that property. I've only been here 2 months and we've had to turn down almost a dozen people for hangars. We've got one spot to develop since the change with commercial service, and that's over there by Transdector. So we could put 6 to 8 hangars depending on size. However, when I look at that and look at our options to develop airport potential elsewhere in the airport, we have no utilities, we have no infrastructure, we have no access. We have property, but we have no way to service it. So I'm looking at that area over by Transdector, which is the parking lot and toward the taxiway. And looking at one of our plans originally was to cul-de-sac Airport Drive and put a taxiway across to the east side of Airport Drive. Now, if I get the manufacturer coming back and he's going to be here today or tomorrow to have one last discussion on this, is it bring back 20 acres or 10 or 15 on the other side? And how's that going to pencil? How's that going to fit into the system? And what will that do for our availability of hangar space? So, and I know this is something that hasn't been brought up yet, but that's what we're taking a look at. This is our last chance before we sell that property, which that would be fine. We could use the money on the airport, but right now we could use more hangar space. So we're trying to sort that out, put a pencil to it, so we can get FAA approval to see if that's going to take priority, which I assume it probably will because we're out of space.
So can the money that, let's say it's the 3 20-acre parcels, if we do 40 to the state, could we use that money to go towards the development of that 20 for hangars?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, but we still need to get it approved by the FAA.
Yeah.
It would be something, if we started today, we're probably 18 months to 24 months out having something available, but we'd have a plan
Right.
to where we could start developing what would be in the design for access for at least 8 hangars if we decide to go across Airport Drive and bring some of that back in. But this is our last opportunity to do that and get the FAA to bring that back in. Sorry,
That's okay. Somebody must be watching you on TV.
apologize. So again, we just started looking at that within this last week here because we realized just how short we are. And we've got 3 parcels over by Aerostar, and I've got 2 different people looking at all 3 of them.
Okay.
So after that happens, we're pretty much out of lease parcels till we develop something, and that's a priority for the FAA.
Okay.
So we'll be bringing that to you, to the board here shortly.
So the FAA will prioritize the lists of what they want to see at the airport?
We will prioritize it, they approve it. And they may have some suggestions that, well, this hangar development is more of a priority. They may move it to number 1. So
Okay.
we present what we believe would be our options that the county could support for development. And they will look at the funding and they may adjust your priorities. And generally, it's about how it works.
And does this affect our comprehensive plan at all?
No,
No? Okay.
no.
Do you mean the airport layout plan?
It's just the long-term plan for the airport.
Yeah, so airport layout plan, yeah, it would affect that, but it doesn't affect the Kootenai County Comprehensive Plan.
Okay, well, no, I didn't mean the Kootenai County. I
Okay.
meant for the airport, their long-term plan.
Yeah,
Right, and we would have to, our engineer would have to, we'd have to come up with an approvable design, and it would have to be put in or put on our ALP before they'd fund it. But that's all a succinct process once we have approval from the FAA. We get a head nod from them, we move forward.
Okay.
And all those things happen while we're applying for grants. So, like I say, it could be as soon as 18 months, but we need to hurry and get that to them to get an opinion so we can move forward with it.
would either commissioners be, I don't know, the word escapes me. Do you want to have a workshop where we can have a big map and then Phil can show us what the projects are on the CIP and the ALP, and then we can kind of see what's going on? Would that be helpful to do a workshop? Yeah. Sure.
Well, I've seen some of the projects, but I'm more than happy to sit down and go through it again.
Okay. Phil, is that something you wouldn't mind doing?
Yeah, we can do that, that'd be fine. I would probably bring Corey in from Ardura now. She has all the specifics on them, so.
Because I think if we're looking at changing the ALP, I think we probably all need to be on the same page and looking at that.
Yeah, my only question related to that was just the fact that we seem to have kind of hit our limit with at least existing lots to lease out. And if we're going to expand our footprint or anything like that, or we need to do that, that was the only reason why I asked that question, if we need to reevaluate the layout plan.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. And let me get a hold of Corey. We need to discuss some of these possible designs before we have the meeting, so we'd have something to actually show you what the intention would be.
Okay. And if it's easier, I mean, I don't mind going out to the airport either. Tina, you up for a road trip? To the airport?
Totally.
Okay. So if it's easier to do it there, we could do it there as well. I just hate for you to have 3 separate presentations, and just be easier, I think, to do it once.
Let
So,
me see what we can get together by the end of the week, and then we can figure out a date to schedule that.
okay, and I don't think it's like too crucial. I mean, sometime in the next 60 days probably is
Yeah,
sufficient.
don't drop what you're working on now, because I know you have a lot of stuff on your plate.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian?
The Airport Advisory Board, it sounds like what you're describing might be a good thing for them to be briefed on at the next meeting, but also to the degree to which there's some opportunity for them to be involved in this workshop or whatever. I would think that's a good idea. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a public meeting, so anybody could join us.
I know Mr. Anderson is up on leasing issues, and he's going to be giving a report at the next meeting on that, is my understanding. So I'm sure these two are already talking to each other, but it'd be good to bring it into the bigger advisory board circle.
Okay. So there was also talk about development on the north side. Even, there's no infrastructure and stuff, but, considering going down that path. And I don't know if we wanted to consider, an RFQ for development out there, or if the BOCC wanted to take that on, since the airport is now, self-sustaining. So, I mean, just other options.
But those have been part of this discussion on airport development, the big picture. The immediate need is, where could we get the most aviation property serviceable with infrastructure the quickest? And not that we're not looking at the other side, because we are. There's several different development ideas have been over the past 15 years anyway on that, since Empire went in.
Okay.
And the north side. So immediate need first, and we're still looking at the big picture, so that would be part of the discussion, yes.
Okay, great. Brian, anything from past meetings that are noteworthy? I don't know that I've really seen the minutes. I think those
The
are still in
minutes-
process.
In fact, there was a little bit of lag time on minutes. Our first meeting was at February 22nd.
Yeah.
And so just last night, I sent back supplements to the minutes that were drafted
Okay.
for 2 of the meetings, and I expect those will be forthcoming to the board for deliberation action at the next meeting on May 10th, and then you will receive copies of those, so.
We usually get the draft minutes for this meeting, and so that's fine. I mean, I understand the challenges and everything. Then, I mean, we see the draft minutes before you guys approve them, usually.
I understand,
Yeah.
and there's a bit of lagging on
Yeah.
those 3 meetings.
Yeah.
And that's why last night I was up looking at them and sent it back to Jonathan for at least 2 of the meetings they provided me.
Okay.
Some supplements.
And I
expect
just
to
want
see-
you to,
so.
I want you to make sure that you don't think they have to be approved by the board before this board sees them. That's all.
I wasn't aware of that, but thank you
Yeah.
for clarifying.
Yeah, so that's all. So, okay, anything else?
No other questions, thanks.
All right, I will open it up to public comment. No, nobody on the line, Nancy? Nobody? Okay. Shane, are you,
I don't know where I go. Do I go?
you can go
fine.
here, you can go there, this is fine.
Push the little button.
Yeah.
Good morning. Shane Rogers, end user at the airport. I want to thank all you guys for having these meetings, and airport manager is doing a great job, as well as the advisory board. So I want to come forward and say that. Thank you guys all. You guys have, it's come a long way in a short period of time. I think the advisory board's coming around. I think they needed a little bit of guidance, if I can just jump in here real quick from you guys, and I know everybody here is you know, it's a new day, but maybe giving them some guidance on the directions that they want to go. I know it's an advisory board and really represent end users in the community of the airport. It is a community airport, but it might help to lay out some guidelines. Kind of their process, I suppose, is the best way to put that. On that, I think they're doing a great job, but again, we've got some members on there that just aren't getting out to the community, and the community at the end of the day is the end users. I mean, there is the neighborhoods and the cities and the county that they represent, but they should probably get out and understand what some of these problems are, and I think that would speed up the process of helping them advise you guys on the end of the day, and stop the go around maybe that might be happening to they should be our first line of defense for end users, I feel, on the airport. And then, you know, they can communicate with you guys, as well as, you know, Phil, the airport manager right now. And all those guys are doing great, and I know it's new for everybody. So that's kind of my recommendation, is just if we had some guidance for those guys, might help them along.
I think you
Thank you,
did.
guys.
I think, yeah, I want to say that you did have it's on my desk. So, okay.
Yep.
All right, anybody else? Nope. All right, 9:18, meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.